These are this afternoon's top stories. Prime Minister Harris hosts monthly press conference. Guyana observes Road Safety Month, and South African prosecutors begin appeal to convict Pistorius of murder. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2015. I am JD Keynes. In national news, ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation provided live coverage of the Prime Minister's monthly press conference, which took place today in the Parliamentary Lounge at Government Headquarters. Reporter Jason Davis was on hand and filed this report.
During the Prime Minister's opening statement, the Honourable Dr. Timothy Harris spoke on three main topics: the Citizenship by Investment Programme, the progress of the Sugar Workers Payout, and the Fresh Start Programme for small and medium-sized businesses. Regarding the CBI, the Prime Minister noted that his government has been working to restructure the CBI unit, focusing on training and quality assurance. He also noted that restoring international confidence has been a priority and assured that following a meeting with Asian investors, confidence is stronger thanks to the reforms. Regarding the payment of gratuities to former workers of the St. Kitts Sugar Manufacturing Corporation, the Prime Minister noted that $9.3 million has been paid out to 1,560 beneficiaries and approximately $2 million to shut-ins, third-party claimants who are overseas, and persons applying on behalf of deceased beneficiaries. On the subject of local business, the Prime Minister noted that under the Fresh Start program, 92 applicants have been approved to start small and medium-sized businesses, and a total of $8.2 million has been dispersed. The Prime Minister wrapped up his opening statement by informing residents about upcoming national events such as the Remembrance Day service on November 8, the launch of the Criminal Justice Strategic Board on Wednesday, the hosting of the 25 Most Remarkable Teens on November 12, and National Assembly on November 17. Reporting from Government Headquarters in downtown Bastia for ZIZ News, I'm Jason Davis.
Stakeholders in the tourism industry came together at a yachting forum hosted by the Ministry of Tourism on Tuesday to discuss opportunities and challenges facing the sector. Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Lindsay Grant, mentioned some key areas to be examined during the forum.
We shall also discuss key programs and marketing strategies that could be employed to promote the yachting sector in the Federation, as well as to identify specific actions needed to stimulate the future growth and development of the yachting industry.
Minister Grant further disclosed that major steps have already been taken to assist in the development of the sector.
We have taken a step further by recruiting a yachting liaison officer to address the issues facing this sector. This demonstrates our commitment to the process of diversifying the sector and strengthening our institutional capacity to better meet the needs of the yachting sector.
The Yachting Forum is one of the events being hosted during the observance of Tourism Month, which has been held under the theme 1 million customers, 1 million opportunities. 6 Caribbean countries, including St. Kitts Nevis, are competing to implement the most effective and creative national awareness campaign that focuses on protecting ocean environments. The campaigns are part of a 5-year regional project, the Climate Resilient Eastern Caribbean Marine Managed Areas Network, which is sponsored by the German government and the OECS Commission. Lucine Cross, Eastern Caribbean Communications Manager for the Nature Conservancy's Eastern Caribbean Office in Grenada, said as climate change is an important topic with the International Climate Change Summit happening in late November, she believes this is an excellent way to focus on the fun, positive work happening in the Federation to combat and adapt to climate change. The campaign is hosting fishing tournaments and produce soca songs with artists Dully Ranks and Sugar Bowl. The countries will meet before a panel of judges, and the winner will be announced at an awards ceremony in Dominica on November 18th. Regionally, the St. Lucia Ministry of Health has launched an investigation into the death of a mother and her unborn child at the St. Jude Hospital.
On Saturday, October 31st, Sylvina Emmanuel of Shantytown, Vieux-Fort, was admitted to St. Jude Hospital. The mother, who was reportedly experiencing some difficulties, sought medical assistance for her and her baby. While her mother and partner waited anxiously in the emergency room, Sylvina Emmanuel passed away for reasons yet to be revealed by the St. Jude Hospital. Now an investigation into the death of the young mother and her unborn infant has been launched by the Ministry of Health.
We have done a preliminary investigation, and so far, on review of the notes of which I was involved in, it appears that there may have been some underlying medical conditions which contributed to the young lady's demise. However, we will, as a ministry, before the end of the week, commission a full inquiry at which we will have specialists in obstetrics and gynecology, in internal medicine and cardiology from St. Jude, from Victoria Hospital and community, review the notes and review the findings to ensure that procedures and policies and everything was followed during the care of the young lady.
The CMO says at this point the Medical Health Agency will not unequivocally state what the exact cause of death was in the case of the expectant mother and her child. According to a statement issued by the hospital on November 2nd, which reads, quote, "The woman arrived at our emergency room in critical condition. Despite the best efforts of our medical team, the lives of the mother and her baby could not be saved," end quote. As a result of the death of Sylvina Emmanuel, CMO Merlin Fredericks has highlighted the urgent need to decrease the infant mortality rate in St. Lucia. While the Ministry of Health has offered condolences to the family, the department strongly maintains that the young mother suffered from some underlying health complications.
As Guyana observes Road Safety Month, the traffic department within the police force is targeting young minds to raise awareness about road safety.
Focus will be on children in an educational drive for Road Safety Month this year. Road Safety Month is observed under the theme Be Wise, Stay Alive, Stop Speeding, Don't Drink and Drive. Traffic Chief Dion Moore said the focus is to reduce accidents and deaths in our country.
If we as adults practice the right principles and do the correct things, then the children who are the leaders of tomorrow will be better role models and will be better men and women in society, and that in itself will help to reduce accidents and deaths because they will practice the safe principles and do the correct thing with regards to road safety.
Moore said for this month, the Guyana Police Force Traffic Department will have more enforcement and educational programs to raise awareness of road safety.
If you say I'm satisfied, no, I'm not satisfied with the way things are. Even though we have a reduction in accidents and as well as reduction in deaths, one accident is always too many for us. Every time an accident occurs, it reduces productivity and increased costs in our country.
And the Police Force Traffic Department will continue to pay attention to those night spots with the hope of arresting persons driving under the influence.
We are patrolling the areas that are relatively busy during the night periods where activities are, and once we spot a driver or recognize that a driver might have been doing a sudden maneuver or is not walking properly, or when he speaks, his language is not properly constructed, then that in itself can give you reasonable cause to run a breathalyzer test on him. And once he is found above the alcohol limit, then he will be charged.
Figures so far for this year are showing 82 accidents with 96 deaths compared to 101 accidents against 109 deaths for the corresponding period last year. Reporting for Capital News, Vice Hendricks.
Internationally, on Tuesday, prosecutors called for South Africa's Blade Runner Oscar Pistorius to be convicted of murder and sent back to jail for shooting his girlfriend, challenging a court's decision to sentence him for a lesser offense.
State prosecutors in South Africa have begun a Supreme Court appeal to scale up Paralympian Oscar Pistorius' culpable homicide conviction to murder.
It is a proper application of state power to ensure that the law is correctly applied. That's the rationale.
The 28-year-old was released on house arrest last month after serving almost a year of a 5-year jail term for shooting dead his girlfriend, Reva Steenkamp, in 2013. Prosecutors will argue a High Court judge misinterpreted parts of the law when she ruled the state had failed to prove intent to murder. They say Pistorius must have known the person he fired at 4 times from behind a closed door could have been killed.
And is discharged. Instead, he is found guilty of culpable homicide.
Pistorius was not present at the hearing. If convicted of murder, he faces a minimum 15-year jail term.
In more international news, Mexican restaurant Chipotle has closed 43 of its restaurants in Washington State and Oregon after more than 20 people were sickened. Here's more.
The decision was dramatic and swift. Popular Mexican food chain Chipotle closing 43 of its restaurants in Oregon and Washington State. Would-be patrons greeted with this message on the door: FYI, we are closed due to a supply chain issue. So far, at least 3 victims have been sickened by E. coli in Portland and 19 outside Seattle, 8 of them bad enough to be hospitalized.
The excruciating pain in my abdomen was something I've never experienced.
Health officials say most, but not all of the victims told them they recently ate at one of 6 Chipotles, the chain voluntarily closing locations in the 2 states, even though the contamination hasn't been directly linked to them. Saying in a statement, the safety and well-being of our customers is always our highest priority.
Shutting down restaurants is a good way to go until you know how severe is this going to be.
And because symptoms can take more than a week to show up, health officials expect the number of victims to rise.
And now taking a look at the weather, temperatures today will reach a high of 82 degrees Fahrenheit with a moderate breeze blowing from the east-northeast at 14 miles per hour. Today's skies are partly sunny with a slight chance of a brief shower. Tonight will be partly cloudy, becoming occasionally cloudy with scattered showers overnight. Seas are moderate with waves reaching heights of 1.5 meters or 5 feet. Sunset for today is expected at 5:39 p.m. with sunrise for tomorrow at 6:10 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. I have been your presenter, JD Gaines. Have a great afternoon.